Syndicast TV, the bridge between your music and the world.
Welcome to Syndicast TV. We are in Valencia and going to speak with Christian Smith, who's the head of Tronic Music, ahead of his gig at Marenostrum Festival. Hello Christian, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me. It's a lovely day. It's a little bit hot. It's like 34 degrees, I think. But I play at 8 o'clock, so hopefully by then it should cool off a little bit.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for interview. Is it your first time in Valencia?
No, I actually live in Spain, so that means, usually it goes like that. Wherever you live, you play a little bit more. And I live in Spain, so I do a few more gigs here than in other countries. And I have a long history in Spain. I played in Valencia maybe 10, 15 times, so it's nothing new for me. I've played many different festivals and also the main clubs, which are Baraka and a few others. So it's a beautiful city. I'm happy to be back here. And looking forward to playing Marenostrum Festival tonight.
Do you have any opinion about the local crowd?
Spain, I would say, is definitely one of the best countries in the world when it comes to techno music. When it comes to underground music, they're very passionate, and they've had it for a long time. The Spanish techno scene has been strong since the mid-90s, I would say. So there's a deep-rooted, following, and it's really good. And if you think about it, any Latin country, whether it's Spain, whether it's Italy, or whether it's South America, they're always up for partying. It's in the blood.
Definitely. How has your summer been so far?
My summer has been all right, to be honest. It hasn't been that crazy because I took 2 weeks off the last 2 weeks, and this is my first gig actually. In 2 weeks. So I'm a little bit nervous, but the summer is from now on till the end of the year, I'm super busy. I have 16 gigs in August, and that includes South America, Ibiza, blah blah blah. So it's gonna be heavy, but right now I feel great because I just had a 2-week holiday.
Yeah, perfect. You had your album came out last year, Input Output, and also this year the remixes. Did you achieve your goals with the album, or if you had any?
I think so. The project, the album, the album concept these days is kind of dead. Albums don't really sell very much these days, but I still feel it's a great thing to do because it pushes, at least in my case, I push myself to produce a little bit outside the box, to do some tracks that I would usually not do, and I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy, evolving as an artist, and these albums make me do that. And I had this album out last year, and I actually have an album coming out this year again. But this year it's only collaborations because I tour so much, and since I've been touring for 15 years, every year around the world, I got to know a lot of different people and made a lot of friends. So this time I decided to only collaborate with friends and other fellow producers that I really look up to and appreciate, and make out of that an album, and that's coming out in October.
Your album came out on Tronic Music, which is your label. How would you define the sound of it, and how do you decide which track you sign for the label?
Tronic is generally known as a techno label, but I'm not a purist. So if it's housey, I will sign it. If it's hard techno, I will sign it. So Tronic is not just one thing, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's been so successful in so many years, because it always evolved. It's not just one thing. And how do I decide what comes out? If I played it in my sets, if I really like it and I play in my sets, then I'm likely to sign it. It's as simple as that. If I don't play it, I'm probably not going to sign it.
That's super easy. Yeah.
I've made mistakes. I signed a couple of singles that I never ended up playing. But nobody's perfect, But generally, if I play it, I sign it.
Okay, perfect. You've started recently Tronic Events, and you have some events around the world. Can you please tell us about it?
Well, as Tronic is really big now, after Drumcode, Tronic is the second biggest techno label in the world right now. It only makes sense to push the brand and to give a lot of the younger talent also the opportunity to play at bigger events. This is one of the main reasons. I mean, I'm busy as a DJ myself. I don't really need Tronic events, but doing Tronic events enables me to push the other talent that release music on Tronic, and talent that releases albums, and just to help their profile and hopefully get them to another level. And of course it's nice to DJ together with other friends that you already know quite well. So we're doing lots of Tronic events. I just had one during Sonar. I'm going to do one at ADE. I do pretty much 2 to 4 Tronic events a month, so it's going like this right now. Like I said, because it's mostly just fun.
We talked about Tronic music, Tronic events, and you have a Tronic Radio that completes the brand, yeah? Can you please tell us about the Tronic Radio?
For Tronic, I wanted to start a radio show a long time ago, like 10 years ago, but I was always too lazy, to be honest. Then I had a manager and he pushed me into it and he said, hey, now it's time to do it. And I said, okay, let's do it. And I spoke to a couple of radio people. They said the only way to do a very successful radio show is if you do it weekly. And some of the biggest shows are 2 hours, but a good friend of mine said do 1 hour because it's easier for the producers to place it to different stations around the world. And so I started the show. Yeah, we're at show 255 now, so I guess that's roughly 4 years, give or take. And working with Syndicast to distribute my show, and I'm very happy. I mean, the show is now, I think, on 105, 110 different stations all around the world. And yeah, it's amazing. It's just interesting to see the reach you get with a weekly radio show rather than looking at the label. The label has been there for 20 years and it's very popular, but to be honest, more people know the radio show than the label. So it's these days, I think, doing a successful radio show is very helpful to promote the music that you release as an artist and the music that you push, and also important as an outlet to promote yourself too.
So you syndicate Tronic Radio around the world on different radio stations, and apart from that you reach more people with your music. Is there any advantage of syndicating your show?
Well, I definitely would say so. I mean, back in the old school days, most people have their radio show just on one station and they reach their people in that city, and if they're lucky, it went national. But now being able to syndicate your show, you can have your show all over the world on different big stations, whether it's in Argentina or whether it is in Buenos Aires or in Tokyo or in Sydney, or in London. It's just, you can reach so many people by having a radio show. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great outlet to promote the artists and the music that you're about.
Definitely. You've been in the music business for over 2 decades, I would say, yeah. And what do you think the current scene, techno, tech house scene, which direction is it heading to?
It really depends where you are, but I would say right now techno is very popular, and everything goes in waves. I mean, I've been in this business for a long time, and a few years ago techno was not very popular. Tech house was the main thing, and now techno is the main thing. And to be honest, I don't really care about trends. I do what I like, and if you're good at what you do, I think you should be all right. So I'm very busy touring globally, and what's gonna happen? I don't know. Tronic is very successful. Drumcode is successful, but being successful also comes at a cost. People expect to do something, and that's something I don't like. I don't like to be too predictable, and this is one thing with Tronic, especially, and also with the radio show. I sometimes really release something that you wouldn't expect, and I enjoy that, and I think that has also helped the longevity of the label. And as for the radio show, for example, once I've had a few techno shows, I always think, okay, now it's better to have some housey person, and I think it's important to balance things, and that's the way I like to do it.
And finally, what can we expect from you tonight at Marenostrum Festival?
Well, I played the same festival last year as well, actually, and I don't know if I'm playing on the same stage. I think so, and it's pretty good. It's for around maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people, so it's not small. The vibe is great in Spain. I expect, techno and hands in the air and a good party.
Okay, perfect. Have fun, and thanks for the interview.
Syndicast. The revolution in radio syndication and music promotion. Visit us at syndicast.co.uk.